When you hear the name, the Royal University of Africa, what comes to mind? Don't search through anything. The only Royal University indeed in Africa is KNUTSFORD University College. And I'm excited to be in the office of the Pro-Chancellor here today. And also to let you know that this is the maiden edition of Time with the Chancellor with me, Janet Boateng. And we're excited to be interviewing one of the greatest men here in Ghana who has, of course, laid down his life to develop an institution like this, where young people would be educated, both professionally and then in terms of leadership as well, because one of the core things they stand for is leadership. I present to you Mr. John Kwabena Esel, who is the Pro-Chancellor of KNUTSFORD University College. Sir, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Jane.
You're welcome to Time with the Chancellor with myself, Janet Boateng, and I'm privileged to have you today.
Thank you very much, Jane. My name is John Kwabena Esel.
Oh, Kwabena.
Kwabena Esel.
Oh, Efanti.
Efanti.
Oh,
yes.
I actually thought Kwabena Esel.
No, it's
wow,
Kwabena.
Kwabena Esel. Please,
Yes.
do you know the meaning of Kwabena?
Well, born on Saturday.
Okay.
And as a Fanti,
Okay.
it could be Kwame.
Okay.
But Fantis would usually, use the Kwabena.
Kwabena.
instead
Wow.
of Kwame.
Wow. I'm also a Fanti. I'm Adre Saba.
But that's my dad.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
And my second daughter is
Wow,
Isaba.
Isaba. Good to know. I'm glad we are starting on a very familiar note.
You'd see.
Yes. So when we hear the name John Kwabena Esel, what should we think of, sir?
Well, think of a proud Ghanaian, and from the central part of Ghana, central region, and a Fanti. And I'm also very happy the Lord has used me as a Ghanaian to contribute my quota, to the development of our country and for our people, especially our young ones that needs to be developed and to be trained.
Wow. I also know that you are a family man, a husband and a father.
Yes.
Can we know more about your family?
Yes, I'm a family man. I have a lovely wife, Alice Asantua.
I can see their pictures
Yes,
over there.
yes, and
Wow.
I have 5 children, 2 boys and 3 girls.
Yay, the women we won.
Yes. They are all doing very well. The first gentleman works here with us here.
Wow.
The second one works with Goldfields.
So they are grown already. I actually thought they are still like...
Some.
Okay.
Some.
Okay.
Some. The third one is in her final year here.
Wow.
At the university, and the 4th year he's in her first year SHS, and then I have a very last boy in his primary school.
Wow, amazing. And the region you come from, of course, is the central region.
Exactly.
And the hometown is?
Mankasim in Kwanta, 3 miles away from Mankasim.
Wow,
yes.
wow, amazing.
Yes.
Talk about your parents. Are you the only child or the firstborn?
I'm the 4th born.
Wow.
My mother is late, but my father is alive.
May her soul rest in peace.
Yes, and I have siblings, some of them here, some of them outside, and I enjoy them all.
Wow. I mean, looking at your life, I'm sure that God is also blessing them wherever they are.
Oh, certainly. Yes. We are one family, so obviously part of my blessing is affecting them, and theirs is also affecting me.
I am being
too.
affected right now. I
see.
feel like something is happening to my mind.
Certainly.
Wow, amazing. So when we talk about Mr. John Kwabena Esel, what is one of the life core values you stand by?
One core value is godliness. And in actual fact, godliness is the first value of this university college. We have acronym 8 golden values, and the first letter G stands for godliness. I'm sure when we come to that bit, I will give some more. But the
Of
truth
course.
is, we are all children of God. I believe in creation. I believe I did not, or the world did not come just by chance, even though I am in academia. And I really respect science, and I follow development. My conviction today is that there is a supreme God who created us. We are his children, and we must liken his form. And that's why we must be godly.
Wow.
Little gods
Wow.
live in the form of our bigger God.
Wow.
And so if you just ask me of one, it's godliness. We need to live a godly
Wow.
life. Even though I'm not talking about perfection, I'm a sinner just like all. But godly people will never enjoy sin. They would see it as wrongdoing, a foreign body, and get back on track.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is amazing. It is obvious that Mr. John is a staunch Christian, and he says that one of his most core values in life has to do with godliness. I'm dazed, and I felt like we were in church right now. If my viewer, you agree with me, just say, preach over there in your home. So let's move away from the other side of you, which has to do with your spirituality, and get to know you as an entrepreneur. Of course, you can't be managing an institution like this without having a business mind. How did you get into KNUTSFORD?
How did I get into KNUTSFORD? Well, I've loved to be an entrepreneur since my graduation from college.
Okay.
And I have found something to do on my own. Today, I really appreciate so much of graduate unemployment, and that's a worry to all of us. But I wish to tell all such people that they are on the path of walking into greatness, because there's something in them they must really explore. And sometimes you will not get employed because God wants you to do something on your own. And so let me say that that spirit has been with me, and I have managed my few businesses that I set up. But what really brought me into education, entrepreneurship, is a passion I have developed so many years ago. I tell people, some of us from our background, we could not have the formal education path as others would do. And so we had tried so many alternatives or different ways of developing ourselves. And I had always looked forward to see institutions that will offer other support, to beef up the capacity of our public ones or the existing ones. And so I was very glad when government gave the permission for private universities to set up.
Wow.
And I worked with one of such institutions, and knowing the need at the time, when I left there, I decided to consult and to talk with some few people I know, so we can also create this platform for upcoming young ones to get the opportunity of developing their natural talents, so they would use it to serve people and by extension to glorify their God.
Wow, wow. Obviously, you sound like you're part of the founding members, are you?
Yes, I am.
How many are you? if you don't mind. Better still, we can move on to the next question.
Yeah, well, let's move on, but I'm a key member of it.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. So we are speaking with a key member of the founding members of KNUTSFORD University. And we shouldn't take it lightly, the information he has given as an entrepreneur. So this should encourage you that whatever idea you have, you shouldn't throw it away. He had his passion from university days and never gave up. Sir, if you could briefly throw a light on the journey of being an entrepreneur, before, of course, we see your glamorous office. We see you look good, but we might not know a little bit of the process. And as young people as we are, if you don't mind, you could share some of the journey with us.
Yes, that's always exciting to talk about how far we have come. In actual fact, that is the grace of God that is waiting and is available for all young ones. When I was ready to work, and I had actually looked for jobs and I wasn't getting, and I decided actually to begin something on my own. I had to use my little resources that was given to me by a loved one. In actual fact, I was thinking of traveling outside, and that loved one brought me that support. That support was what I used to register my office, my company at the time. And, you know, I had my office in a portfolio. So in my bag, briefcase, everything of my office is in there.
So there wasn't any structure from the beginning?
No structure from the beginning.
Maybe locate me on the number 2 street of...
On documents, you have used an address where they can find you. But that address, that office was actually an office you are parasiting because legally you need to be known, identified.
Wow.
And so I had to speak to my big brother and say, can I patch with you?
Wow.
Okay. And so I was patching with my big brother, but had all my office in my briefcase, so to say. And so I'm only saying this to let upcoming youth know that you don't expect to get it all before you start.
Wow.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have a story to tell, and you wouldn't have a journey to embark on. We start from the known to the unknown, and from small to bigness. And so today, whatever we are doing, I would like to say that we will say we have developed and grown from where we started from maybe 20, 30 years ago.
Wow.
20 years ago.
Wow. So from the office in a suitcase to the office in a building has been 20 to 30 years of a journey. So he said that begin small and definitely God will make you end big. So upon this motivation, how did we get the name KNUTSFORD?
KNUTSFORD is actually an acronym, but very philosophical as well. The K there is knowledge, and it's because we are in the knowledge industry. Then you have the NUTS, nuts, and basically representing the nuts fruits. And we viewed human being in the likeness of a nut fruit. And when you pick up any nut, you would find out that the sweet kernel is always covered with a shell. And for you to get to the sweeter portion, the edible part, you will have to break the shell. And depending upon the type of nuts you are dealing with, it could be easy to break with your fingers, or you would have to use stones or knife to break it. And figuratively, it tells you that every human being has God-given talents.
Wow.
That those talents must be uncovered and developed so you can unleash all the potentials it has. And you need these potentials to live, and that is to forward your life. The rest of your life, you have no idea. We don't know how much time we have here on earth to spend. It could be very long, it could be short. How do you survive this? You need to develop your God-given talents to be able to use it to live whatever time frame given you. And we are contributing by using knowledge, to help the individual develop themselves to attain this height and journey.
Wow. So the K is for knowledge and the N is for the KNUTSFORD.
Yes.
Talking about God-given talent. It means that here in KNUTSFORD, creativity is one of our hallmarks.
Very key. Creative excellence, and it's part of our vision. We envision to develop men and women with creative excellence, with entrepreneurial mind, and with godly character. These are key to us. We have set up this institution first and foremost to work very hard to become very comparable to any world-class institution you'll find in the world. Here in Africa, a place where students are well-groomed and nurtured and transformed to become very good leaders and servants. A place you've developed God-given talents in us. Today, the whole world is moving on science and technology.
Yes.
And it's about technology and innovation. And these are creative abilities, which is in us. And so once we can use our mind to think and explore, good Lord, who is the Father of it all, is available to solve our problems through creativity. So yes, students who come here are envisaged to be very creative, very entrepreneurial. They mustn't wait until they are employed before they get work. They, even while in school, must begin to explore and to begin their entrepreneurial skills. Before they graduate, they know what to do. And when anyone needs their services, they will render that excellently and with joy and motivation. Amazing.
So talk about KNUTSFORD. You know that we are not only preparing you to graduate and just go, but we are preparing you for the job markets and put you in a situation where you can as well create your own job. And that is very important for a world such as this. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we are going to find out when KNUTSFORD University was established and many more. See you soon. So while on break, I was just telling Mr. Kwamena Esel that I wish someone was actually doing the interview so that I'll just sit back and listen to the wisdom he's just bringing out. You don't have to go anywhere. Just, get a glass, put some wine in or some drink, cross your legs, and just watch the show. Welcome back. This is Time with the Chancellor, and today we're privileged to be hosted, yes, by the Pro-Chancellor of one of the best schools in Ghana. Yes, in terms of facilities, in terms of the ambience, in terms of the peace, the atmosphere. I was monitoring the dressing of the students, and it's just on point. And I believe that this is what we need as a nation, in times like this. And so we get to find out more about our Pro-Chancellor and what KNUTSFORD stands for. Thank you, sir. So we welcome back again.
Thank you very much,
Yes.
Jane.
So we're talking about a lot of things, and I assured my viewers that right from the break, we're going to find out when KNUTSFORD was established, whether it was established between the briefcase days or eventually it was established in the early years of 2000. So we find out, when was KNUTSFORD University established?
Thank you very much, my dear. Precisely, the project started somewhere 2005. And by 2008, we had put up the startup facility. We have attained our accreditation from the National Accreditation Board. And so by 2008, we were given accreditation to start. And so we've been functional since 2008.
Wow. So since 2008, KNUTSFORD University has been in existence. I would recommend your hard work, because 2018 is just behind me.
Yes.
And looking at the track records the school is keeping, I think that, I mean, that's a work worth recommending or commending to people.
God is blessing us.
Yes, yes, yes. Far from that, I noticed something about the school that is very special and peculiar. The environments in the school, very neat, well organized, very collected. I was approached by one of the students at the entrance. So I was trying to tuck in my shirt, and he quickly said that your zip is open. I was like, wow, I mean. And I tend to look at the person, a well-dressed young man with his bag at his back.
I see.
Is it an intentional atmosphere you've created to enhance learning in the school?
Very much so. You know, learning, in my view, is the starting point of life and any development. And the environment under which it must be done, you know, should be very conducive and appropriate. And so at this level, we are developing people who will go out there and serve.
Yes.
This is the beginning of their tertiary, you know, career. And we must be able to teach them or help them to appreciate excellence in everything they do. And that begins with everything around us. We can't talk excellence when our facilities, our structures doesn't speak to it. That will just be bookish, you see. And so everything regarding architecture, functionality, designs, students' orientation, you know, has been purposely planned, and it's envisioned that our students and our graduates will appreciate the environment. In actual fact, one of our core values, when I told you we have a golden value, part of our value has got to do with excellence and neatness. And so we can't actually speak on paper and not to show that we are actually an institution that cherishes and appreciates and develops men and women with those creative abilities.
Talk about the neatness and everything. I think it reflects who you are as a leader as well, because if the leader isn't like that, it will be very hard for the followers to really walk by the thing the leader preaches but doesn't walk by. Obviously. On that note, I would want to find out what secondary school you attended, tertiary, or your basic education. And then I'd really want to link it to who you are right now, because I'm enjoying an amazing man.
Well, I wish you'd be able to do the linkage, But my primary school was in Accra here, a place they called Avino.
Avino.
Yes, and you may not see that excellence there, but I'll tell you, they were all part of who am I today. I went through the middle school, so I went to the middle school also at a place called Kaneshi.
Kanishi Odoko.
Yes, Odoko. It's Awudome 1 and 2 boys, middle.
Wow.
And so that school is there. Occasionally I'll go around, to see how they are doing. Yes. And interestingly, I was with Swansea Technical Institute in Cape Coast. And that was where I did my college education. And it interests people how technical students now become a leader and an entrepreneur. Yes. But that's another subject we could look at.
Wow. I think that we need, you see, I think this show wouldn't be enough capturing or wanting to know who this man is, because I am learning so much, really. So one of these days, we're going to have a forum with him where you can attend, sit down, relax, and get to listen to more. But now it's KNUTSFORD, of course. And we would quickly want to find out the courses offered here. And I had to interrogate, let me use that word, and find out the courses that are offered here. And so when you're done, I have a particular question I'm very concerned that I would ask you.
All right. We have 3 schools currently running here. We have the business school that offers business programs. And so specifically, you can get Bachelor of Science degree in business administration with various specializations options, including marketing, human resource.
PR?
We do accounting and finance. And then, so that is about the business school.
Right.
Yes. We are waiting to be given the green light to begin masters in business administration also by the NAB. And then we have the School of Science and Technology, which currently run 3 major programs. Bachelor of Science degree in nursing, and then also we have Bachelor of Science degree in computer science, and then Bachelor of Science degree in information technology. The 3rd school is the School of Humanities. And there we've started with Bachelor of Science degree in economics and Bachelor of Science degree in communication and media studies. And in the communication and media studies, you can have strategic communication track concentration, you can have development communication concentration, and you can also do journalism and new media studies. And I think it's also fair that I mentioned that we are affiliated mainly to the University of Ghana since starting in 2000.
That is disappointing. Upon hearing KNUTSFORD, I was expecting KNUST.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
Only to hear Legon, the University of Ghana. I was excited because when I heard KNUTSFORD, I was like, this excellence is going to Kumasi.
Right.
Only to know that it's in Accra, but that's on a lighter note.
Yes. And so we've been working with the University of Ghana, and they have been very helpful and gotten us to this far. Somewhere last year, we also sought to work with the University of Development Studies in some of our programs. And so part of our programs are also affiliated with University of Development Studies in Tamale.
Okay, so when we talk about affiliation, what do we mean?
In Ghana, until you are chartered to award your own degree, the law requires that we are mentored by a public school or a chartered university. And by that, they ensure that your programs, your faculty, your facilities are all standard or above. And once that is ensured, they then supervise your work and your delivery. And at the end of the program, they award a degree on behalf of the college. And so we aren't awarding our own degree yet. University of Ghana, do that for us. Okay. And usually depends upon the program affiliation. Wherever the program is affiliated to, then the university then will award a degree at the end of the program when you have met all graduation requirements.
Wow, that's a very good one. Can see so much hard work you are putting in, so much hard work to break through the system and gain favor and get things done as an entrepreneur. I've been thinking about why other courses like medicine and other professional courses like law are not offered here. Any special reason?
Yes. We have planned programs along some of these programs, but it requires you to have the appropriate facilities and the faculty, for these programs. And we must say that one of our biggest challenge in this area is the faculty. For the facilities, you can put them there, but some of these programs it's difficult to get faculty with their terminal degree who would be able to, mentor and guide students to go through the program. And so programs like medicine, even though it's part of our vision and our dream, we haven't been able to mount such programs yet. The same thing applies to law and other technical, vocational, technological programs. And it is also very important that you would find most schools or almost all the private schools and of course now the public schools offering business programs and programs in the social sciences. And it's largely also because of the kind of environment we found ourselves. Ghana is not a heavily industrialized country.
Yes.
And so some of the programs you may mount them, but may not have the need base, might not be too much unless you look beyond Ghana, which is another thing we are very keen on exporting human resources. But it accounts for reason why we run programs that are available.
Which I totally agree, because the programs here are very available in the job market.
Exactly.
Yes.
Except that we are now expanding. So now you have huge, cry for unemployment. That is one. And then two, I must also say that running some of these technical, vocational, technological or science-based programs are actually expensive. And so the ability for the students or parents to be able to pay is another issue or reason why most schools are unable to get into it immediately. We're looking forward to seeing, as it pertains to other developed countries, where options where students can access funding for their education. And I think once they are able to pay for the cost of their education, then private schools like ours can also mount some of these high cost yet demanding programs.
When we hear about private schools, most of the times, one of the things that comes in mind has to do with tuition. With KNUTSFORD, how is our tuition system like?
You mean teaching methodology? How we
No,
teach, or
tuition,
the fees?
the fees.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Well, in actual fact, people get to hear of private education and immediately they get scared of the kind of amount of money that they should be paying. And people come, walk through environments, see the building alone and think that this could be very expensive school. But that is not the case at all. Currently, our fees are very competitive with even public schools that have the fee-paying options. And so you aren't going to pay KNUTSFORD any money beyond or too far from what you would have paid for going to University of Ghana Business School as fee-paying option.
That's very true, because we have fee paying.
Exactly.
And also in the public, and people
Exactly.
prefer even going there because they
Exactly.
think that's an assumption that
Exactly.
people have.
Very. And so we are very competitive. It's within the reach. We are struggling because it makes operations very difficult, and especially where if you don't have any donor support or grant, and you have to depend mainly on your income to run the school. And first and foremost, our biggest objective is to increase access. Once Ghanaians are getting the opportunity to educate and to develop themselves, we are happy. But as a private institution, we must stay on business. We must be able to maintain facilities and to develop. And so we are really hoping forward to seeing a booming economy where parents' purchasing power will be up, for them also to pay its commensurating education that we are offering.
Very well then. I know that very soon there'll be a breaking point for private institutions, because parents have actually come to realize that unlike those days where you could go to public university and stay in a hall and be within the hall, it was 2 in a room or 1 in a room. Now it's not like that. A classroom can have 300 students. Lecturers don't have time to teach and all of those things. So they are beginning to appreciate institutions like KNUTSFORD University. But if we could quickly find out about the requirements for application when someone wants to apply to KNUTSFORD University, because one other thing people have out there has to do with the fact that government universities, you have to get all the A's, but private university, you can come in with anything and all of that. What is your take on it, and then what are the requirements?
Right, thank you very much. I think in terms of our admission requirement, we have a standard that the National Council for Tertiary Education has given, and that becomes a base for all of us, whether private or public, to use. And we are using those standards. I think the minimum standards set by the NCTE, and for that matter, the National Accreditation Board, is to accept credit passes in 3 core subjects, and then also credit passes in 3 elective passes. Some of the requirements will depend on the departments. And so, for instance, the Department of Computer Science will require an elective in the area of elective mathematics. And so, once you get to the appropriate school and the department, you are given the departmental requirements. But on a general, we go by the 3 core credit passes or better, and three elective credit passes or better from the West African Examination Council's examinations.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, amazing, amazing. It's obvious that a lot goes into this in terms of being an entrepreneur in academia. So if we could talk about the teaching methodology here, is it lecture to students, lecture to one student?
Right.
Do they have academic supervisor?
Right.
Way back in school, they said we had one, but I never met the person.
Right.
So I don't know how this is.
Very well. I think one advantage that private university, enjoy as opposed to the public at the moment is our much more improved student faculty ratio. You will find very small size or sizable students to a faculty in most of the schools of the private ones. That itself is part of the teaching methodology, where the lecturer, gets to know all his class students and interact, know the weaknesses and the strength of each one of them, and is able to manage them well. And so that is a plus, and we do use that. Again, our assessment, is basically both theological and practice as well. And so it allows the mentors or the lecturers to test knowledge and then also skills. So part of the lecture is done in the classroom, and part of the lecture is also done, on hands practice. Sometimes they move out to the industry and see and practice what they are being taught. Yes, we also have, depending upon students' category, they are assigned with tutors who could help them, come up in areas that we feel they lack. Students are also encouraged so much to do group studies and interact. And of course, in teaching, lecturers are required to do more of interactive, learning, where everybody there is a learner, including the lecturer. The lecturer is supposed to know and walk, the students through, but the lecturer doesn't know it all. And so every day, research is key. That's right. Students are supposed to research into modern thinking, modern approaches, and students as faculty members are supposed to do the same. And so any variance is discussed, and we're trying to move away from the memorization of history and of facts, but how do we use these facts to even think of new ideas and approaches. So these are some of the approaches that goes on here at KNUTSFORD University College.
Wow, amazing. Thank you very much. I'd want to ask the least, as compared to other public universities, we usually would find students being piled up in a room. What's the least number KNUTSFORD takes in a classroom?
I'll tell you some of the specializations. You'd find about 6 students to a faculty, sometimes 10. And it's amazing, the ratio. It's so, and that poses, of course, huge cost to us as well. Yeah. But I'm telling you, we just started a program in economics, and for instance, we had 2 students to begin, and we are taking the 2 students on. That's a huge cost to the university. But eventually, we're hoping that others will join.
Wow.
And so, sometimes people have the perception that the private schools are just taking money, but we don't fault at them. It's new. And I keep telling people all over the world, the best 10 schools, majority of them are private. You see, so given the opportunity, private institutions will excel. It's just a matter of time. And also, when our output becomes obvious for the community to appreciate, then they will understand that investing in one's education is very critical. Let me also say that in establishing KNUTSFORD, as I said, our vision, as part of our vision, is to actually create a university that can be compelled to other great institutions outside. You see. And so we try to create the environment that sort of project this. Okay. And so instead of traveling outside and spending so much, you know, you are likely to get an education that is equal or close to whatever you get from outside. Okay? And so we encourage lovers of international education, okay, that we have what is out there for them to come and also enjoy. We're trying also to build a partnership with some of these institutions out there so that our students can interact with them. We go on student exchange, they come. Our faculty could go there and come. And so by that, we'll be developing ours as well.
Wow. I said that you should move from your house, come and host this for me to listen to this man. It has been insightful. And KNUTSFORD University is really not what you think you know. This is the real deal. I mean, it's obvious that students here have time with lecturers. They have breathing space in the classroom.
Very much so.
And less things to worry about when they come to school. On that note, I'd want to ask with regards to how you gain accreditation. You know, you're talking about how you have to collaborate with the public universities and all of that. And these are things people don't think about. We just think that you have your money and you've established a university. Can we talk about the accreditation processes and also support from governments?
Okay. Thank you, Jane. The process is very rigorous.
Wow.
And partly to ensure that standards are met and that we do not just do anything anyhow. And so I think the process is, once you have in mind of establishing a tertiary institution, you put up your preliminary infrastructure and then write to the National Accreditation Board. And they would come and have a first-hand inspection of your facilities and your vision, and then give you what they call authorization. In actual fact, it is good to begin from that angle, because once they come and they see that your vision is not likely to help you get there, they could help you not to spend so much continuing, so you can save your investment. But of course, they will give recommendations. When the recommendations are done, then you can apply for what they call institutional accreditation.
Okay.
So institutional accreditation, they will come and look at your facilities again, look at your buildings, your libraries, your laboratories, and look at your teachers, and everything that goes into offering the program.
A quick one, sir. Talk about teachers. I'm aware of the kind of changes the Ministry of Education is pressing on for, that if you don't have your PhD, very soon you can't lecture and all of that. Can you vouch for the kind of excellent lecturers you have here?
Yes, for now, the lecturers we are using, we can vouch, but we can always do better. I wouldn't say they have attained their optimal. They still have much more room, to learn and to excel. And I also believe that the policy really wants to ensure excellence in our teaching faculty. Of course, there are models in different places. There are models to suggest the best teachers are not always people with PhD, though.
Totally.
Okay? You may have people with their masters, with other research areas which over the years gained much more insight and experience in the subject area they want to teach.
Or the practicalities of things,
exactly.
Like journalism or communication area.
Exactly. Some of these have also been in the industry, and they carry huge industrial experience into the classroom. Yes. In actual fact, today, the success direction of tertiary is much more of bringing industry into the classroom, other than just, developing scholars who will have to go out there to be trained for industry. The industry don't have time for such people today. So most innovative schools now will want to find out how do we bring, industry into the classroom. So students, are developed,
yes,
both with the theory and the practice. So they are made industry ready. They get out, they graduate, and they know what to do. Okay, so it's very critical that we find a way of bringing those experienced members to come and help. Of course, academia has its own policies and principles. You must understand the underpinning theories and models that governs whatever principles we are using and all of that. So much as we welcome the policy, we expect that we will just go beyond acquiring a terminal degree and ensuring that our faculty members are well exposed in the industry so that they can impart, to our student body exactly what the industry requires, solve solutions, and ensure that we are together building our country. They should be in the known. What is Ghana's current difficulties? Where do we want to go? How do we get there? These are questions that mentors and developers of our students should know and develop them to graduate with.
Oh, well, thank you very much. My very last question with regards to the students has to do with how friendly the environment is to international students.
Very much friendly. As you observed yourself, you come here and more or less it's like being in, Europe or
yes,
America or any of those. We have tried as much as possible to get close, and we actually want to do more in that regard. We've had few international students outside Africa. We used to have quite a number from Central Europe,
wow,
that do their studies here. And we do also have some from other African countries that are studying with us. And in actual fact, you have heard a slogan or a name, the Royal
University
of Africa. And of course, KNUTSFORD would want to champion that. Africa is a royal continent, blessed with so many resources. Our universities must begin to champion this idea in the minds of our young upcoming leaders. And this is what KNUTSFORD want to do. KNUTSFORD would want to have a base that represents the whole of Africa and go beyond Africa into the global community as well. But we must begin well in our own home.
That's right.
We can't jump to Europe or in Americas or in the Asia when we haven't, established ourselves well in our own home.
Yes.
And so we don't want to be only in Ghana. We want to look beyond Ghana and to say that Africa is one continent. We are for Pan-Africanism. We need to work very hard to have a common market, and with a population of over 1.2 billion people, this is a huge market, a very successful huge market to do intra-trading.
Wow.
So that's the direction we are going. We are very much receptive to other international students.
Wow. So obviously, this is not your ordinary university. This is not the kind of university you would imagine. There is more to this university, and especially when you have a global focus, you have great vision to get somewhere, to become a global competitive entrepreneur, or students, professional, anything you want to think about. KNUTSFORD University guarantees you.
Jane, talking about global, can I just chip in?
Yes, please.
One of our projects that would soon come up?
Yes, please.
And we call that the KNUTSFORD Global High School.
Wow.
KNUTSFORD Global High School. In actual fact, we want to begin to orient, students from the college level, from the high school level, before they get to the university, or what American would call college. Their mind ought to be psyched, to appreciate the kind of trend and technology for current developments and emerging ones. And so we are partnering with an institution in the United States called K-12.
Okay.
And we want to do what we call from K9 up to 12, which is our type of high school,
Okay.
And online, supported by traditional face-to-face teaching,
Okay.
but mainly online. Now, in this direction, we are going to have American-trained qualified teachers teach some of our courses together with the American diploma as well. And what this means is that a student who goes through this program do not only acquire what pertains to our environment, but also get the American diploma, which could be used to access any university in any part of the world. Now, what is amazing about this program is that even at that level, as part of their electives, they are required to take some vocational, technical, elective courses, which give them skills for employment or entrepreneurship. So whilst at senior high school, they, depending upon their interests, have started learning whatever they want to do, medical assistance, judicial, law, legal, all of those at that level. So we'll soon make this available to the public, but we think this is the direction that we must go. We must begin to use technology and allow our students to now have access to international faculty members who, all instances, have much more international experience than we are exposed to. So
Wow.
let's watch out for that
Wow.
innovation, Knutsford
Wow.
Global High School. And
The KNUTSFORD brand is huge.
good.
Is huge. With a touch of excellence. I'm very impressed. Obviously, wherever my child will grow to be, my child will come here
Amen.
and be part of the KNUTSFORD Global. Oh my
Amen.
goodness. It's obvious we have a good visionary and someone who cast a foresight like an eagle. And that is a kind of pro-chancellor you need in your life. Sir, is there any other words you would want to share before we round up?
I want to thank you, Campus TV, for developing a program like this with chancellors so as to allow us to share our experiences with the community and to encourage people to even aspire to be more than we are now. And we pray that the institutions that are supposed to help grow our private sector will also look up to private university colleges and help us grow. It's going to be very difficult to meet all this vision without help from institutions that be led by our government. You know, sometimes the public do wrongly, think that any money coming from government for private sector development is not proper.
Yes.
But indirectly, if the private sector is well developed and grown, it's in the interest of every one of us.
Yes.
And most developed countries have deliberately planned to help build their private sector.
To the point that some of them come to Africa and open branches here.
That's the point. And now we've become more servants to these institutions, you see. So we aren't talking about government giving the owners of these institutions monies to expand by themselves. But there are so many projects that government can do to facilitate the operations of private universities. For instance, we talk about hostels.
Hostels.
Okay, it's very expensive raising, the hostel requirements.
Yes.
But if government has its own hostels, advantage points where students can, then the individual institution will not bother putting up his own.
Because when you go to abroad, hostels are
all over.
All over.
All over. And, even though we have private individuals who are interested in these projects, they are interested in citing them at major public campuses where they are short of numbers.
Yes.
Okay? So it's an area government can help. When it comes to common library and ICT facilities, you could have government facilities across vantage points. So the private individual wouldn't have to build his own ultra-modern library, okay? And so these are some areas that we think government or institutions that promote education can come in and help. And I think it will boost the interest of educational entrepreneurs like myself and others, to keep to what we have in mind.
Wow, wow!
I am so grateful to you.
It's been amazing. It's been amazing,
wonderful.
And I totally believe that this show is not even enough to talk about the issues regarding academia, entrepreneurship, and we need to always create our platforms for resource persons like you to talk about pertinent issues in the industry, which is very important. But I sincerely believe that we all can help make Ghana a better place. We can help encourage these people that have dedicated their life. He could have stayed abroad with his family, but these are people that have been there and wish and hope. They don't only wish, but they act on it, that Ghanaians like myself would experience that quality education. So yes, Time with Chancellor is a great show, and today's one has been amazing. maiden edition with a man of God. He's a bishop, a man who fears God, a family man, responsible man, and very loving. And we believe that the other editions of the show will be amazing because he has totally blessed it. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much,
Mr. John Kwamena Esel, the fancy man.
The fancy woman.
Thank you so much.